Welcome to Logan Airport. I'm Derek.
I'm Shrey.
And we're on our way to Spiel to see some games, play some games, demo some games. And I've been going for quite a while. I've been going since 2017, and it has changed over the years. There was some halls that weren't being used, and those halls have been used throughout the years. Last year, almost all the halls we used, they spread across the vendors so that individual vendors could be near different types of genre. So you actually could get different types of games. So you get the strategy games that might be next to something that might not necessarily be other strategy games, which made the hall move a little bit better. Before, the halls were individually sectioned so that each one of the halls would kind of be just that type of board game, which you ended up having Hall 2, the strategy board games, very, very full, and overflow of 3 specifically. But that actually has worked pretty well over the years. With over 200 visitors, then you definitely get to a place where you can kind of get really stuck and you can't move. And I don't know if you noticed, the crowds were pretty thick, right?
They were thick, yeah. It took a lot of navigating, but it actually wasn't as bad as when the last I went to Gen Con.
Really? You thought Gen Con was worse?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the aisles were tighter there.
Yeah, the dials are definitely tighter.
And Essen's got, currently 6, or I think it's 5 or 6 halls.
I think it's total of 7 halls, but I think one of the last hall is actually just used as a staging hall. So the very first hall, that's where they cart in all the people. And all these people are carted in this very, very large area, kind of like cattle. And then they're pressed up against the wall, and then everybody will then go in once the hall opens. And they'll actually, like Gen Con, it's open from different sides, and basically you just see people running to the specific booths that they want to go to, because some games, we want to get in early for demos. Sometimes it's really hard to get a demo. Sometimes it's easier to get a demo. And if you get to the booth early, you might most likely you'll be able to get the first demo of the day.
Yeah, hopefully. Although people, when the doors open, people run to the specific booths they want to try the games at. So It can be tough to get some demos for some of the longer games. You kind of have to be lucky with the timing when the table's finishing up, or you just hover there for an extended period of time waiting for a slot to open up.
Hovering sucks because you only have so much time there, and because you want to buy games also, you're going to spend some time in some lines, and usually the heavier. Not heavier, but the more popular, the hottest games, so to speak, are the games that tend to generate pretty large lines. Certain publishers will always have long lines, just in general, because they tend to be destination.
We want to talk about this evening, before flying out to Europe, is a look back at some of the games from Spiel 2024 that we particularly enjoyed.
I'll start with the first game that I have on my list, which is Rebirth. Rebirth is a game by Rainer Knizia, and it was published by Mighty Boards. It was a very simple mid-weight game, so simple as far as we're concerned, because obviously we stray a little heavier. And that game itself played really strong because it had a really nice flow to it, and there was interesting thing about it is you only have 2 tiles and you only have 1 choice to make, and that choice it's more tactile because you have to get it right away, but those choices actually end up being kind of really nice because it doesn't give a lot of AP to that player. So I really enjoyed Rebirth from last year.
Mm-hmm. I only got to play it once earlier in the year before Essen, and I felt a little bit restricted by the choice.
Yeah.
That I kind of wanted a bit more freedom, a little more agency, but
I did mention that to Rainer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't taken very well. So I feel like he wanted us to not have that choice, and he felt like that he wanted the game to be more snappy.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of feels snappy, but you're right. The choice is something we do like that in general in games.
All right. A game that I love from last year, probably my favorite, I think it is my favorite game from last year, is Asian Tigers. I got to play, when they were demoing it at Essen last year, they were doing half game demos because the game is a 2 half game. So they demoed the first half, and I got to play that, and I was a little bit, I didn't see it at the time. I was a little bit lukewarm on it. I wanted more out of it, and when we got back, I was able to play a full game, and instantly it was like, this is so much better now that I understand how it's going to play out and how your choices early in the game impact later. And and since then I played it several times. And it's been.
I actually haven't played it myself. It's an economy game, right?
Yeah, it's some area control-ish stuff in there.
Oh.
The calculation can be a bit much, and I think it's not a game for a lot of, like, I think a lot of people wouldn't quite enjoy the having to recalculate constantly.
Yeah,
but
yeah, absolutely.
I find some of that intuitive, at least for me. So it doesn't bother me, but so it really works, and really excellent game.
Was Inferno, and I love the pieces to it where you're kind of racing for some of the areas for scoring, because things score so quickly, and as you're because this is a worker placement game and you're moving stuff down kind of like a ladder, so to speak, in the lower levels of hell, it actually gives you a placement in each area where you could score right away, but you really want to get in other people's business, so to speak. So you try to push yourself in areas to score where you might not necessarily have been able to earlier. So subsequently, after the first play, not really enjoying it as much and kind of not really understanding as much, each play after I've really enjoyed it, and I've really tried to kind of hone how to score in that game, because it is kind of a juxtaposition of, do I want to help somebody else? Does it help me to help somebody else as much as it helps myself?
Yeah, and I kind of like Inferno. I find how quick the scoring does happen, how quickly.
So fast, the first two scorings?
Yeah, because Dante walks down the path,
yeah.
and like every other time he takes a step, once you get like a third through the game, someone's gonna claim one of the banners or the diplomas.
Yeah.
And that feels a little too quick for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing was, I was talking with Corey about that exact thing, because he was feeling that the game, because it goes so fast, gives you more agency. Because a lot of games, there's a lot of build-up, and you feel it, the build-up, and it immediately happens so quickly. Your second game, that doesn't feel like as much of a build-up, because you're immediately looking at that first or second scoring for Dante. Mm-hmm. And that's Dante's Inferno.
The next game I would talk about is Oranges and Lemons. Now, this is a game that I didn't play until I wasn't really on my radar until after Essen. I think at least maybe even a month after Essen, and I sort of missed it in the BGG preview list for 2024.
I didn't see it either.
And then I can't remember what prompted me to go look at it closer. It may have been someone in the herd who said this game is worth looking at, or I don't remember. But
Medusa Games is pretty small.
Yeah,
place.
Yeah, it's Medusa, Richard Denning, and I ordered it on just with very little actual without any sort of background on the game. I hadn't seen any. I think I may have read the rules, but I hadn't watched any videos on it. But based on what some people were saying, I guess I took a flyer on it, and it turned out much better than I was expecting. It's a standard, it's a worker placement game. It's not a particularly like complicated worker placement game. But the hook is that the order of your workers shifts around from I think over the 6 different rounds based on the actions you select in the previous round, and that tension, that decision that you have to make is so nice.
Do you just want to get something free, or do you want to do this really good action but be last?
Yeah, the later actions are better, but you're going to go later next round, and it's such a good game, and I think there's been a few different people out there who have been evangelizing it, and that's good.
There are a couple of publishers looking at it too. I mean, they should, because the game is excellent. And there's not a lot of games that we find that play really well at 5, or we play at 4 most of the time, but it can handle 5 no problem.
It does 5 well.
Yeah, and 5 for a really good Euro it's kind of like a grail. You have a game, a group comes over, and you want that 4 or you want 6, so you can split up into 3s, but 5 is always a really difficult number in general. Yeah. So to find a Euro game that plays well at 5 is really great, and Orange and Lemons definitely fits that bill.
Came out late last year was Bomb Busters, and that has gotten a lot of play in our local groups.
Yes.
I know people who have played through the entire thing and are playing and are happy to keep playing with other people through the even earlier missions. I think I'm in the late teens, maybe 18, 19 mission.
Wow.
I think that's about where I am right now, and I really do enjoy some limited communication co-op games. I don't typically like co-op games like Pandemic. They're solid games, but they're not really what I look for.
Yeah.
That limited communication really is necessary for me.
I think it's important, especially with co-op games where you feel like it's just a single player game.
Yeah, and Bomb Busters does it well. There's a bit of like luck that can go into it, and you can take some guesses and hope that you're right, but it does a good job of ramping up the game through the different missions and tweaking things, adding some extra choices. It's just really good co-op if you want that kind of co-op.
I hate co-ops. I mean, I really think co-ops are really just games that you play with people that don't want to play, that they'll like to play the game with you and they're nice and they want to play the game with you. But Bomb Busters is different. I mean, that game it really is a cooperative game, and you really feel the tension when somebody's going to reach over there and grab the one that's going to blow up everything.
Yeah.
So great game.
Yeah.
It was, and I think it's one of those games that's going to still continue to get played.
Yeah.
My next game is Shackleton Base. Shackleton Base by Fabio Lupiani. Lupiano, sorry. This game we could start just talking about it being a really strong Euro that has modular elements to it, and the modular elements kind of give it a little bit of gameplay change where they can change the focus of the game, kind of not so much how you score. It is how you're scoring points, but it's also could change the dynamics of the way the board is also, which I absolutely adore, because as you're playing the game, you literally are playing one type of game that's removing resources or people, and then you have another module that's completely propagating. So you have like all these modules that are working in different ways to kind of make the individual experience different from game to game. So by taking 3 different modules and varying those modules, you can actually get the specific type of game that you're looking for. And I think what we did is the first one we thought was okay, but then the second module, the second time we played with all 3 of the modules that are not in the first game, and that game actually had a little bit more. It was a little bit more hard. It was a little more difficult for us to get our engines going because the modules were directly fighting each other. Like one module was like put workers in these locations to do these things, and the other module was saying move these to sell them to do this other thing. So it was really nice to see that that the interplay between the modules can change the aspect of the game, not just through the play itself, but also through subsequent plays. There were some modules that are not quite as interesting as others for me. More simple.
But you get a good mix. It's a really good experience. I wasn't a huge fan of the beginner set, but once it got mixed up a bit, it became much more interesting, and it is one of the best games from last year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
And then the last game I want to talk about is, what was it? Oh, right, it's Sancore. Hey, another Fabio Lupiano game.
Wow.
That was unintentional.
Yeah, it's funny.
So I think we first played this way before Essen, and got to play it several times before Essen, and it came out at Essen and at Spiel, and I really do enjoy the decisions it forces you into, the paths it asks you to decide to go down. Right, there's these 4 core areas where you sort of, you can call them mini games. I think they're more interesting than like that. But the interaction between them, like one type of resource is used in the next area to produce a different kind of books, and then those resources are used in the next area. It works really well, but ultimately the scoring is where it all comes together, where you're deciding on what's going to score the highest in collaboration with the other players or in conflict with the other players. And that's
does happen.
That's a really delightful thing that you don't often see in games where the players decide how scoring happens. And it's it's one of the better games from last year. I think it's a bit of a bear to set up.
It is.
Which
it is.
maybe
It's gorgeous.
Impacts. Well, it's Teal, so
Yeah.
But it's such an excellent game.
Yeah, I played it once. I would love to get it to the table more, but with all the new games that keep coming out, we tend to keep playing all the new stuff and not able to jump into. But
I think it benefits from repeated plays.
Yeah, and I think that is one game that I would really like. After looking at all of 2024, there wasn't too many that were super standouts where we would be continuing to play them. Much less, I feel like this last year was a little lighter than a lot of years, 23, 22, and I'm even looking at 25, that there could be some real good winners.
That was just a few of the games from last year, and now we really need to head over to our gate since we're boarding soon, and we're heading to Barcelona for a few days before the Spiel Fair begins.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us, and see you next time.
All right, thank you.